Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a debate that gets cricket fans really fired up. Who is the greatest player of all time? And we're going to focus on one man whose numbers are so good they almost seem made up, Jacques Kallis. And let's just kick things off with a huge statement from someone who would know. Kevin Peterson, an incredible player himself, flat out called Kallis the greatest cricketer to play the game. I mean, that's not just a compliment, that's the ultimate praise. So, the big question is he right? Is that just hyperbole, or is it a claim that actually holds up? Well, over the next few minutes, we're going to dig into the evidence, the cold, hard numbers, and his legacy to see exactly why Jacques Kallis has such a strong case for being the best ever. Okay, first things first, for anyone who might be a bit newer to cricket, let's quickly get on the same page about what an all-rounder even is. Basically, it's a player who is a top-level expert at both batting and bowling. Now, lots of players can do one or the other pretty well, but a true all-rounder is like having two world-class athletes in one person. And as you're about to see, Kallis didn't just fit this description. He completely rewrote it. All right, now we get to the core of it, the real heart of the argument. There's this one unbelievable statistical achievement that puts Jacques Kallis in a category all by himself. It's a mountain that no other cricketer in the history of the game has ever managed to climb. So let's talk runs. With the bat in his hand, in both of the sport's main formats, the long 5-day test matches and the shorter 1-day internationals, there's this magic number, 10,000 runs. It's the benchmark for being considered an all-time great batsman. Kallis, yeah, he blew past that in both. Okay, but then you flip the coin. Let's talk about what he did with the ball. Taking 250 wickets is the mark of a seriously good, career-defining bowler. And Kallis, the guy who we just established was an elite batsman, he strolled past that milestone too, again, in both formats. And this is where it all comes together, and you can really see the full insane picture. Look at those numbers. Over 13,000 test runs and almost 300 wickets. Over 11,000 one-day runs and more than 270 wickets. A player would be a legend, a Hall of Famer for achieving just one of those four things. Kallis did all four. So here's the bottom line, the thing you really need to get. He's the only one. This isn't some exclusive club with a few members. It's a club of one. No one else in the history of cricket has achieved this double-double. It shows a level of skill and, just as importantly, endurance across every part of the game that is simply unmatched. So let's zoom in on that batting for a second. Kallis wasn't just a guy who scored a lot of runs. For nearly 2 decades, he was the absolute rock of that South African team. His technique was like something out of a textbook, almost impossible to get past. You know, in Test cricket, a batting average over 50 is kind of the gold standard. It separates the legends from just the very good players. Well, Kallis, he averaged over 55 for his entire career. Think about that. Those aren't the numbers of a great all-rounder. Those are the numbers of one of the greatest pure batsmen to ever play the game. And when he was in form, oh man, he was unstoppable. Just look at this streak from back in 2003 and 04. He scored a century, that's 100 runs, in 5 test matches. In a row. That's something only a tiny handful of the absolute immortals of the game, like Sir Donald Bradman, have ever done. But here's the crazy part, right? That batting genius we just talked about, that was only half of his game. He was also a genuinely intimidating bowler, a workhorse who could run in all day and completely change the course of a match with the ball. Think about what that meant for his captain. He wasn't just some part-timer you bring on to give your main guys a break. No, Kallis was a genuine threat. He could swing the ball, had real pace, and had this knack for getting the big wicket right when the team needed it most. Having him in the side gives South Africa this incredible balance that other teams just couldn't match. Okay, so we've seen the numbers, and they're just staggering. But what's the final verdict? How do the other greats, and how does history itself judge where he stands in the pantheon of crickets? When you talk about the greatest all-rounder ever, there's really only one other name that always comes up in the same breath. The absolute legend from the West Indies, Sir Garfield Sobers. And when you put their stats side by side, you see how tight the argument is. Sobers' batting average is a little higher, but Kallis' bowling average is a little better, and he took way more wickets. It's a debate that could and probably will go on forever. And it wasn't just the stats. His trophy cabinet was absolutely packed. We're talking the biggest individual awards in the game. He was named the best player in the world. And get this, he has more Man of the Match awards in Test history than anyone else. That tells you everything about how often he was the single player who won the game for his team. And of course, a ticket to the Hall of Fame was a no-brainer. And this all leads us to one final, really interesting question. Kallis thrived in the longest, most grueling forms of cricket. But in today's game, with all the focus on specialization and the super short, explosive T20 format, is it even possible for someone to become truly world-class at both batting and bowling and do it for 20 years? Jacques Kallis isn't just one of the greatest ever. He might just be the last of his kind.